Yo, it's Graham Ledger. It's time to get totally tubular. So chill out. This radical, bodacious rewind starts right now.
Don't you forget about me. And don't you forget about me.
Ladies and gentlemen, our guest is the most valuable player of the National Basketball Association 6 times. From the Los Angeles Lakers, the all-time scoring champion of the NBA, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and he's coming off a game that was second to none in his brilliant career. You got to be proud.
Oh, definitely, Chick. It was a great effort, but, you know, I had a lot of help, and we're just glad to be here.
Hey, how about Fletch?
Well, wow, what can I say about Fletch? He's been fantastic. He boxes out for us, gets the tough rebounds, does the tough things that we need to win. It's great working with him. I don't know where we'd be without him.
Well, let's take a look at the play. He is actually 6'5" with the afro 6'9". Pretty good dribbler. Comes in deep. His club is behind by 1 point at this stage. Fletch comes in, puts the ball through the legs. What a great play, and he puts it up and in, and the Lakers have the lead. Oh, was that some kind of a play? You know, this gritty kid from the streets of Harlem really creates excitement. $4 million a year, that's true, but he earns every nickel of it. Look how he shakes off 4 or 5 defenders with ease. Fletch.
All right, so that's Fletch. That's basically Fletch in a nutshell. If you like sight gags, if you like Chevy Chase, if you like what my mom might say bathroom humor or third grade kind of humor, slapstick kind of stuff, early Saturday Night Live kind of themes, then you'll love this movie if you haven't seen it. I'm one of those people who never saw this movie when it came out in 1985. And not unlike Star Wars, which I have never seen, but I know everything about Star Wars, and I think I've seen every scene of Star Wars, Darth Vader on down. And the same with Fletch, because Fletch, for men, has become a bit of a cult classic. A cult classic, to be honest with you, is not worthy. I mean, I had trouble sitting through this movie. And I know now why I didn't bother go seeing it. It's interesting what Chevy Chase says about this movie, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But it's just full of sarcastic lines. I mean, that's basically what this movie is all about. This movie clearly was just a simple vehicle to give Chevy Chase a starring role in something. I have no idea who wrote the script and how quickly they wrote it, but it's not deep. And it's not even a boy gets girl, boy loses girl kind of theme. It's more like, hey, here's Chevy Chase, and here, you know, he's talking about fantasizing being a Los Angeles Laker, and that his afro makes him 4 inches taller than he. I mean, it's just silly stuff like that. But if you like that kind of stuff, and you like Chevy Chase, this is the movie for you. Does it take you back to L.A. in 1985? Not really. I mean, the cars in the movie kind of tell the period of time, but a lot of this stuff was, you know, shot in homes and mansions and places like that in Los Angeles, and then ostensibly in a newsroom because Chevy Chase is a reporter, and it really kind of is a timeless piece. It's and the hairstyles and the clothing is not indicative really of the 1980s. So this movie to me doesn't really smack of the 1980s. But let's go back, shall we, to 1985. Well, Ronald Reagan was president. That was just after his landslide victory in 1984. Times were pretty good. Inflation was running a little bit hot, less than it is now. So interest rates were rather high, but you could buy a home still for $22,000 in 1985, or rather, your median income was $22,000, and you could buy a home for $89,000. So $22K, that was the median income in 1985. Doesn't sound like a lot. It's probably what you pay in taxes now. But you could buy a home for around $89,000, but a relatively high mortgage rate. In many cases, it was double digits back then. But a gallon of gas, you know, cost of living, a gallon of gas was around $1 a gallon, and ground beef was just over $1 per pound. On the radio, we were listening to Simple Minds and Madonna and USA for Africa. Anybody remember USA for Africa? That was the song We Are the World that featured virtually every big-time performer around that era of 1983, 84, 85, from Stevie Wonder to Michael Jackson on down. So that was a huge song, and there was a video accompanying it. It was just a video of them, each of these stars singing their one little part. So the video would go from Kenny Rogers to Madonna or whatever. And that's what We Are the World, USA for Africa was all about. This movie, I think maybe the most important scene in the movie was when Chevy Chase was roller skating, not rollerblading, but roller skating on the boardwalk at, I believe, Venice Beach. And the interesting thing about this movie showing Venice Beach, I'm guessing that, I can't exactly make out the landmarks, but I think it's Venice Beach with the pier there, is that it could be today. In this movie, there were bums sleeping on the beach, and they were fighting drug dealers. That's part of the theme of this movie, which is not unlike what goes on today at Venice Beach in California. This, as I said, was kind of a showcase for Chevy Chase. I think that's probably all it was. There were a couple other stars in the movie. Tim Matheson of Animal House fame, and Joe Don Baker, who back then, at that time, was a pretty well-known actor, but really it was all about Chevy Chase. Now it's rumored, I don't know this for a fact, but they say the budget was about $8 million in 1985, which is, relatively speaking, a lot. I don't know what that translates into today's dollars, but $8 million back then was a pretty big budget for a film that was clearly just shot in L.A. It wasn't shot all over Kingdom Come, it was just shot in L.A. When you compare it to another film that came out right around that time, Valley Girl with Nicolas Cage was shot for $350,000. So go figure, where did all that money go to? Maybe it went to Chevy Chase. Maybe it made him wealthy. But Chevy Chase says that this movie was his favorite, even though it's pretty much devoid of any kind of moral values or even, in my opinion, kind of entertainment values. It's just kind of ho-hum, when's this thing going to end, in my opinion. But he says it's his favorite because it allowed him to be himself. And so maybe the best scene in the movie, I don't know. I mean, it got my attention. I'm trying to look for silver linings here, was when Chevy Chase maybe was allowed to be himself, when he's trying to run away from police, and he runs smack dab into a Shriners dinner and convention.
Our very own and beloved leader, a man who needs no introduction.
Thank you very much, Sammy. Thank you. I couldn't wait. It was a very nice introduction, and I am very thrilled and proud to be here today. It's been a wonderful ceremony so far. Here on behalf of our own Fred, the Dorfman. Many of you don't know that Fred was darn near death recently, and he wasn't ashamed to admit to me that he'd had syphilis, and thank God he stopped in his tracks. I must tell you that it takes a lot for a man to admit where he got it from and how he got it. And I must say, look at him today. Fred, you look just wonderful. The nose looks normal again, the face has come back into shape, and it's not drooling anymore. It's a good sign. And hats off to Marge, his wife, because that whole experience there, the 2 or 3 weeks that she stayed at Trembling Hills, has paid off. No more alcohol or sedatives in her life. But there's so many other things I want to tell you about Fred, things that maybe many of you already know.
Sammy, you're not going to sing for us, are you? Did you know that Fred spent a good deal of his life honoring a profession that has gone largely unsung around here? Some of those boys are here tonight. The profession, of course, is law enforcement. I know Fred feels this way, that too often our feelings are locked in and we feel restrained and perhaps even embarrassed to actually reach out and touch an officer of the law. After all, they are people, aren't they? So why not stand up and pat them on the back? Go ahead, reach out. Go ahead, shake hands with any one of the guys you see here, these men in blue. Hug a cop. Yeah, go ahead. I said it. Yeah, that's a wonderful feeling. I am so proud tonight. Fred is a...
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the
You're not going to sing for us, are you, Sammy? For those of you who don't know, I think that was a reference to Sammy Davis Jr., who I believe was still alive back in 1985. You're not going to sing for us, Sammy. I mean, that's about as funny as it gets. It's just full of these kind of childish, if you will, one-liners. Like, I hate Tommy Lasorda, he says at one. Tommy Lasorda was a manager for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Just kind of a throwaway line, but it's just, it's just, that's part of the script here. Can I borrow a towel? My car just hit a water buffalo. I don't know. It's Chevy Chase being Chevy Chase. And at one point, the lady he's with says, I don't want to go to a Lakers game. So this is, I don't want to go to a Lakers game. I don't know. It's just, it's what they wrote into the script. So Fletch, as I say, it might be one of those movies that looks better in the rearview mirror. And at the time when you're young and you're probably, 18 years old, male, 20 years old, male. I have a feeling women didn't like this movie back then. They probably wouldn't like it. I'm not trying to generalize. I'm just saying I just have a gut on this. You can decide for yourself. But it's, I think it's Chevy Chase being Chevy Chase, and that kind of humor is kind of slapstick, Three Stooges kind of humor, and that has always appealed to men. And like I was about to say, 18, 20 years old, and you're in the theater and you paid $2.50 for a ticket, and that's how much you were paying in 1985. You're probably thinking, hey, this is funny and whatever. But now if you watch it, I don't know, you might be just cringing a little bit as I did in certain scenes and maybe throughout the movie. Even though this is a cult movie, it's really not worthy of it. I'm Graham Ledger. Later.
There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, and it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We all a part of God's great big family. And the truth, love is all we need. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving.
There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. Well, send them your heart so they know that someone cares, and their lives will be
Stronger and free, as God has shown us by turning stone to bread. And so we all must lend a helping